Hello, darlings. This is Becca Victoria. I am a clinical hypnotherapist and TT practitioner, RTT practitioner, and your anxiety and trauma breakthrough therapist. Welcome to Embodied Shift. Jonna and I explore real change where subconscious healing meets higher guidance. And please do subscribe and thank you for being with us today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jonna. I'm an intuitive coach, and my work's about remembering who you are and trusting your inner knowing. Today, we're talking about something many people are navigating. How do you stay yourself when the chaos isn't even yours? So, how do we stay grounded when life is chaotic? Because there's so many frustrations that can happen in life and that we don't have any control of. Like, for instance, the past it's not even a couple of weeks, it's been months in the making, just dealing with nothing against insurance or the way it's done. I think we're coming more in a conversation of just an awareness and an openness on how do we handle ourselves in difficult situations. So I think for the past 3 months, we have to have access to Manjaro for type 2 diabetes drug. And it's the up and coming, supposedly. It's not just about people who want to lose weight, but this is something that's needed for a type 2 diabetes diagnosis that needs to be controlled. So when we were dealing with insurance, we were given like different information on how much the copay would be. And then of course, collaborating with the pharmacy, with the doctor, they have some certain codes that they have to put in. So they're saying, I guess it's cheaper if it's for the type 2 diabetes and not being used for weight loss, which makes a lot of sense. And so they do a lot of like different coding, and then you could have coupons and things like that. And everything is in the system on how they're putting those codes and getting discounts. And so what we've encountered is one time we were given, because we need to meet our deductible, it's going to be like $1,000 something. And of course, okay, we're like happy to pay because we want to meet our deductible. And then expecting next month, it's just going to be $600 or it would be cheaper. And then you go again, and then not even next month, like I think it's next month. And then they're telling you haven't really met your deductible. And you talk to insurance agents and you spend like your whole morning trying to sort it out between your doctor, the pharmacy. And so in a span of like how many weeks, thinking that you already met your deductible, but apparently you haven't. So you have to pay another $1,000 and more than $1,000. And then you go to the pharmacy and they're like, oh, it's actually $1,200 because we don't have the code, we don't have the right diagnosis. And then so you go back and forth. In the meantime, the person who's needing this needs it like today. It's not a matter of life and death. It's a supplement to make sure that your sugar don't go high, right? But so, and then you ask your insurance eventually, like, when can I be sure so I can budget for it that it's gonna be this much? And no one can tell you that answer. So every month it changes. And so how do you stay in alignment? Like, how do you deal with something like expecting that you budgeted for something, and the next, if you actually want the medicine, that you're gonna pay so much more.
That must have been very frustrating.
I think the way that the energy, because I do a lot of energy work, and this is life. This is how we navigate. This is grow. This is where we're testing if we're evolving or if we're still going through the same pattern. So like being so frustrated and acting up and just being so upset, because definitely this is upsetting, especially when it comes to health and medications and budget. And for me, the way that I would find peace through this all is to just make a decision. Because when you're in limbo, it's either you say, okay, I have to adjust. If I know that this is something that's important for the person to have, then it doesn't matter what the cost of the medicine would be, just manifest. Because you can't even budget because you don't know. So you can budget like it's on the higher side. Make sure that he's always gonna have it. And so for me, it's really that key of making that decision. First is, what do I need to do in this situation? And the second most amazing decision is, I'm choosing for me to not get affected by a situation that I can't control. So it's either I decide, okay, this is really good for this person and I know it's expensive. Let's just manifest. Let's work harder or do something else to make sure that this medicine is something that we can afford. Or we go back to the doctor and say, hey, this is really unaffordable at the moment. Is there anything else that we can use? So instead of focusing on the frustrating things, events that have transpired in getting this medication that seems to be working, it's more so how can we deal with this? Make a decision and be happy with your decision and make a decision of you're not gonna let this thing affect it, your energy.
So I will approach it. My approach, okay, I'm gonna share something personal just happened recently. And I'm sharing it not because I have it all figured out, but because I think a lot of you have been exactly where I was, and maybe nobody has given the language for it yet. So anyway, I'm captaining a team, and I've been doing this for years. So we're done with 18 plus, so now we're on 40 plus team, and it's sad actually because this is when you're a captain, a leader, you do everything for your team, right? And just because of two people who did not sign up on time, even though I already told them this is what's going to happen if you don't, and they did, and that hurt. I guess you can tell, tennis is a great part of my life, and being a captain, though, I'm not getting paid or anything, it's my time and energy that I'm putting in, and just two people where they care at all. Do they know if they don't do it, or we're not gonna play at all in this season? They're just not just it's a lot of people are affected by it, right? So anyway, I was very sad when the USTA director said there's nothing we can do because the schedule has already been published. And I said, can you just squeeze us in? I tried to navigate everything. It's like, we just really want to play. And there's some lesson learned, of course, on my part as well. And I think I was thinking about all these things. I was like, okay, could I have pushed more? And at the same time, they're all adults. What else could have I done for us to be able to play still? So here's the thing. I did a lot of things, and of course, I was very sad for my team, especially because they were all so excited. But here's the thing about alignment. It's not the absence of chaos. It's having a strong enough center that the chaos doesn't become us. So, and I talked to my co-captain, my teammate, and even though they understand the situation, it's like, oh, I did not do enough to prevent. But okay, given that we're not gonna play, it's over. There's nothing we can do, right? What I did to I went on the process of grieving. Actually, I did, but I didn't stay there long. So I said, okay, this is every Sunday, right? It's another 7 Sundays that we're gonna play supposedly, but we didn't. But here's the thing, it's like, okay, those Sunday, what I'm gonna do with all those Sundays that I had time, I'm gonna be on the court. Basically, I don't go anywhere this summer because for that reason we have a league. So now I have to anchor myself. So I have my Pilates, I have my daily rituals. I still have to work. I still have to, I still have, now I have a VA that works with, so I have to deal with that. So now I just think of things, what have I not done during this season that I can, right? More productive. So I thought a lot of things that I can do, and it made me feel better. So first of all, my daughter is turning 8, right? So that's something I can prepare for together, right? We can actually sit down and plan about that. And other things, just relax, just do nothing, enjoy the Sunday, hike, whatever else. So there's a lot of other things that I can, but I was so focused on tennis that's like, oh my God, I'm screwed. What I'm gonna, I love this sport, so what I'm gonna do that align, it's not all about things are going so well. This is the test for how I'm gonna go about. So as sad as I was So now I'm feeling much better because I think of the things that is still really positive things that I can. So yeah. So now I'm excited about all my Sunday that I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna maybe date more. I don't know.
It might just be, and I know it's always this case, anyways, divine intervention. Because I know you have a lot of things that you want and you're creating and you're manifesting. Because I know that. And so I know how much you love tennis. But sometimes when we ask for some source, the universe is really orchestrating that. If you want it so hard, because you won't be able to. Sometimes we're not just thinking straight, I want, but I also can't give this up.
Yeah, yeah,
Your guidance is asking, what do you really like in your, because sometimes you need to make a little bit of those sacrifices to get where you wanted. And so they do open doors. And I love this because people miss this so much. The higher guidance. When we focus on, oh my gosh, I failed or I lost this, so then that divine intervention, that guide to actually experience something else because you want to create something else, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss that opportunity. And actually, Becca, I'm excited because you get to create something this summer that you haven't created before.
yeah.
Whatever that might be a new boyfriend. I don't know, whatever that would be.
Yeah.
Just, getting more, getting to know yourself more and loving yourself more and building that relationship because now you have the time to.
Exactly. So I think the bottom line of all this chaos that we're going through, like you said, there's always a reason behind it. Why is this happening? Right? I wanted this. I wanted to do this. It didn't happen. But again, just step back a little, take a deep breathe and ask question like, this didn't happen. Of course, you want that to happen, but just ask some questions about, okay, is this really that it is this? Maybe not. What's really gonna happen? Okay, you can be sad for a moment, for a day, like I did. I was sad for 2 days because I'm gonna meet my teammates all there every week. There's so much more in our lives that we can, right? Like you said, create something, do something different. And all of this are for our growth.
Definitely. And for me, I knew that thing happened too, is because I'm still sorting to my manifestations when it comes to, and I have to really show in the a new identity of my relationship with, because if it was the old version of me, I'll be so frustrated. And this is unbelievable. My stance now, and I love to be able to show up this way because I can actually see the changes that I've done. Like I like celebrating the new me who's not scared to say, okay, like let's do it. I'm trusting the universe that it's gonna provide for, and it's not gonna be and it's already done. It's what it is. We had to have the conversations, but we'll deal with it, and we're just gonna be taken care of one way or other. So that trust and that surrender is just, it really lifts my energy up when I surrender, I trust, and it's fine whether it's 1,000, $2,000, whatever the case.
Yeah.
But knowing that you're just gonna be taken care of or provided, or another alternative of a medicine, it doesn't have to be Monjaro, whatever or that person gets a form of healing different way. There's so many things that can happen as a magic or as a miracle, right? That can and not feeling victimized by things that we can't have a control.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then just to if you have that anchor, if you can ground yourself through all of right. And also I want to be clear about, when I anchor myself, those are great, well, those are great habits to have, right? Because it's not only about, and there's other healthy things and I can tell myself, this is who right? These things that's just happening, they're just, yes, but that's what makes our life more interesting, right? Otherwise, what's the sense of when things are just the same all the time, no chaos? So where's the growth in that, right? So in the case, those anchors, didn't make the pain disappear, but they kept me from, and they kept me from letting that situation define me or shrink or pull me away from the I built myself. You know, this case could create anxiety,
Of course,
right?
of course.
Just remember, the anxiety doesn't come from, it comes from the we assign. And sometimes the deepest wound is not even the event, it's the helplessness we feel. We realize we did everything we did everything, and it still wasn't enough to control that. Right? But control was never the goal. So it's myself was yeah. We can grieve, we can be hurt, we can be sad. It's part of growing. Yeah, I like this topic because it's we encounter this every single. And what do we do about this? For all our viewers that or listeners who are watching or listening, this is what I can share. In every case, feel what is that the feeling that what's happening in that moment, and just ignore it. Okay, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling hurt, disappointed, and find something else that think, okay, it didn't happen. Maybe it's not the right. Maybe there's a bigger reason why it didn't happen this time. Things are happening at the moment because something we need to learn from. We also it makes us think.
Mm.
Oh, shit in my life is happening. We all have, and just that self-aware and do something that kind of reframe it, like reframe. Oh, it didn't happen. What can I do about? Think, and you'll find a lot of
Well, and then what I'm gonna add is, for me, it's an opportunity for me. Like the chaos in life is an opportunity for me to. It's an opportunity for me to know that I've shifted my identity. Because I've never known my growth if there's no more chaos, and I won't be able to appreciate. It's important, like Becca said, to experience what you're experiencing. Don't sugarcoat it. If you're frustrated, feel that frustration, because that you're not battling the energy inside of you, able to release it. And once you release that energy, you come to a better, compassionate perspective for yourself and for the people who are. Because most of the time, too, when you're feeling frustrated about the situation and the people that you're talking to don't have the knowledge, the right knowledge, so it's not, you can't blame them too, because they're trying to navigate and they're trying to also help you the best way they can. It's just unfortunate. They also don't know, like, they also don't know. So when you're given an answer, we don't, like, until we put it in our system, we don't really know. Like, there's no assurance, or so you don't know, and unknown is so scary. Like, oh, how do I budget? How do I deal with this? Like, scary, but showing up with a better version of you, with a higher version of you, I can handle, because I know I'm taking,
yeah.
because I know it's, because that it's not just me, that help that are from the, which, I mean, my guardian angels, my angels, source, the universe. So just keep in mind that you are in the journey, not just by yourself, that you're deeply.
Yes. So, when this staying rooted in a story that I shared, my staying rooted, staying in staying in my power, even when the circumstances were completely out of my hand. I couldn't control those two. I know the only thing I could ever control was me, right? My response, my choices, my anchors, and when I come back every single, I found my way back to alignment. That is what this work is really. Not perfect, not having a life without care, otherwise it's boring. But having such a strong relationship with your with that when the and it, right sometimes and or every you know exactly how to find your way.
Well, I think that's well said, and I think this is the best time to just wrap. Well, thank you all so much for being with us and sharing your precious time with us. Let's all shift